Hello, everybody out there, and the rest of the extended families, hopefully out there watching on Zoom and helping us to celebrate my sister's life. You know, one thing I want to say, it's been a tough 3 months because the progression of things, you know, it even all started back in the beginning of the year. Let me talk about tears. How about that? Okay, so tears are a body's response. You know, tears are a biological thing, but it's a body's response. It's connected to emotion, but it's also your body's way of coping with it. But when you emit tears, it also gives you endorphins, which help you to feel okay. So that it's like takes away the pain. So tears are actually an endorphin painkiller. Thank you. So if we're crying, you know, hey, you know, it's just part of our body coping with the stress, and sometimes, here's one I would probably tell my students at the school, you know, in Chinese medicine, your emotion of anguish and sadness are associated with your lungs. So sometimes when people feel sad, they're like, and I kind of felt heavy like that all this time. And then also the tears come, and in Chinese medicine, tears are connected to the lungs. So each organ has a fluid. So tears, anyways, if you guys are going to cry, that's fine, because I'll be crying too. But I just got to just say that out there, because it's okay to cry. But tough 3 months, because, you know, at the beginning of the year, my beautiful dog passed away. And she'd been with us for 7 years. And then my sister, yeah. And you know, then again, just recently my nephew Albert. So here we are. 3 months. We're gonna get through it, but took us this long. Hopefully the rest of the year is better. Yeah. I remember the day she died. My sister Valerie called me and said that she was unresponsive, and she got taken in by ambulance. And from there, everything went down. But, you know, she was strong, so hopefully, you know, I can be strong until we get through this. Woo! This is like a roller coaster right here. But three things that I'd like to say about her, besides, you know, what I'm going to present to you in a second. She was like a rock. She was a foundation. You know, she was like a center for people. She was for the family and the young ones. She was like a fortress of solitude. They could go there and just be happy and just calm from the craziness of the world and what's going on out there. She was also a superhero, you know, because in her mind, she could see, she could feel. She was very in tune to people, and almost like she had X-ray vision. And she knew when people needed something, encouragement, help, some kind of support, and she was always there for them. So she had those qualities that helped her to be who she was, and how we all remember her, and young and old, right? Okay, let me just go to this eulogy before I just lose it all over the place. All right. I'm Kenny. I'm the youngest one in the family. I was born 10 years after my sister, Camille. We call her Mia. My situation was a little bit different. You know, I was like the youngest, so, you know, she was already going through her teenage years when I was just barely being born. But we grew up, you know, as an Air Force family, so we moved around and such. But today I stand before you in honor of a truly remarkable woman, someone whose presence touched so many lives and whose legacy will continue to inspire and guide us all. The word legacy is, the definition of legacy is a trait or something that someone will be known for even though they're gone. And, you know, Mia left a great legacy for all of us, and something we can go ahead and fall back on if we need to, and just all the qualities of her life and what she emitted or presented through her lifetime. She helped create that legacy. Camelia Yvonne Perez was born on April 18, 1952 in Tucson, Arizona, to my beloved mother and father, Ben and Celia Perez. She was the second of their child and spent much of her early life traveling with her family. As our dad, like I said, had a long career in the Air Force, living in places such as Texas, Idaho, Washington, Riverside, California, that is, Arizona, of course. Her formative years were marked by this military lifestyle, and despite the constant moving, Mia's family roots remained a deep and unwavering part of who she was. Growing up, Mia had a special bond with her sister Valerie, often being treated like twins, as you'll see in the video presentation, from both being students at Santa Cruz Catholic School in Tucson, Arizona, where they hit you with a switch, where the nuns were really strict. The two of them shared a simple but meaningful childhood, where family was at the heart of everything. Mia's Aunt Weta also played a pivotal role in her life. She helped raise her, offering a deep love and nurturing presence that Mia cherished throughout her life. Mia even went to Colorado and lived with Weta as she finished her high school. Their bond was one that shaped her into the compassionate and giving person we all need. Colorado is also where she met her husband, Max. They lived a brief life together until fate would separate them. But during that time, she gave birth to her child, Janelle. She eventually made her way back to Arizona, where she continued to raise her daughter as a single mom. A dedicated student and lifelong learner, she would continue her studies and earn a master's from ASU in 1989. She became the first and the only sibling of our generation of my family to earn a college degree. This achievement was only one of many milestones in her life. As Mia continued to advocate for people and for the Latino cause, pushing for greater recognition of the rights of Latinos and working alongside influential leaders, she was part of LULAC, I believe, and Chicanos por la Causa. At one event, she was excited even to meet the Puerto Rican actor who we all know as Manolito from the old TV series High Chaparral, who was also a supporter of Latino cause. So she really pushed those kind of things for people, for people to be appreciated for who they are. Okay, her professional life was just as impressive. Mia worked for Honeywell and later the federal government. She moved to California and began a new chapter working at NASA at the Research Center. She lived in Walnut Creek over there in San Francisco, but it was a beautiful home, nestled in the hills in the Bay Area, a place that many of us had the pleasure of visiting. Her home was a sanctuary, not just for herself, but all of us who had the privilege of sharing time with her. We would take time exploring the area from Santa Cruz, the beach, in San Francisco, to Napa Valley. It was always an adventure. Mia was more than just an accomplished woman. She was a strong, smart, independent woman. She was loving, supportive, and a giving person. She had a remarkable talent for designing. She was into arts. She loved photography. She even took up dance for a while. I remember that. She loved decorating and creating beautiful things. She had a passion for painting and an ear for music. And I know many of us here have cherished memories of her kindness. And I'd like to point out that even though I'm saying this, she had an ear for music. It's funny because the whole family around us is musicians, and the whole family was musicians. My father, my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncles, and Angel, and all the beautiful people that express themselves through music or singing. I think we're a family of musicians from way back when. So she had that in her ear too. Okay, some early memories I had of Mia. There was one kind of a tough memory I remember. I was ADD, I'm still ADD. That's when I'm bouncing all over the place and can't focus on one thing on my paper. But my mom was ironing. I was jumping around, and Mia was sitting there, and I pumped the iron. Burned her legs, dropped on her lap. But she never held it against me. But that was a tough memory. Some of you don't even know that happened to her. So I'm sure she carried the scar even till her death. But she was always there for me and always there for all of us. Unwavering love and generosity. But here's another memory. I remember, I won't forget, when I was a teenager. All of you know I'm a martial artist, right? Okay, so I wanted to have a mural in my bedroom with a big design and a kung fu man and a tiger fighting together. So she helped me design a stunning yin and yang mural that became a favorite with all my friends. People used to come to her house just to see the wall. She put a lot of effort into it and love. Just those little things of moments of joy stay with me and many others. I'm sure you guys all have memories. Then there was a time we made a trip to California, me and my mom and dad and my wife Dina and Mia, and we were all like at the hotel. I think we bought lottery tickets, and then we turned on the news, and they announced the tickets, and we looked at the numbers, and my dad was like, we won, and her and Mia, and we all just started jumping up and down, and we won, and everybody's just so happy we had won the lottery, and millions of dollars, and then it turned out we were looking at yesterday's, and they're announcing yesterday's winners, and I was like, oh, I guess we didn't win, okay, but it was great for the moment. You should have seen Mia and my dad hugging and jumping. It was just something I always remember. Yeah. So we didn't win, but life went on. Mia's care and devotion wasn't just limited to her immediate family. She was there for all of us, all of you. She took in my mother during her later years, ensuring that she was cared for and loved. Her heart always had room for others, whether it was her nieces and nephews or her extended family. Mia opened her home and her heart to everyone. She helped raise and support Noel's and Joshua's children, creating a space of warmth and care for all of them. Even in her final days, Mia's strength and selflessness was clear. She was there for each of us, supporting us in ways big and small. I remember Joseph even spent time in her home in Walnut Creek. She embraced everyone's activities and passions, even taking up listening to rap music like Eminem to encourage and support Joseph and Joshua with their rap careers. So when we reflect on the time we spent with Mia, we also remember that faith played a part in her life. She lived her life with a belief in God. And as we say goodbye to her, we take comfort in knowing she's now in the presence of the Lord, united with the loved ones who have gone before her. She truly earned her wings. I reflect on my mom, who was often called Mother Teresa by my uncle, Buddy. Oh, you're Mother Teresa, you want to help everybody, it's just beyond your means. Because of my mother's giving nature. Well, when my mom died, I told Mia that she took on that role, that she was living a life of service, and she became Mother Teresa, helping anyone and everybody she could. It was like a ministry for her, and God was obviously blessing her in heaven for all she did for everyone. There's not one person in here that did not benefit from knowing Mia. Okay, in the final weeks of her life, Mia made us laugh, as she always did. I remember one of the last times I spoke to her, sharing a funny story about my doctor visit. This is when she was already sick, and we were checking up on her. But just had to tell her that I'd just come to an epiphany of what happened. Because every time I was young, my mom and me and some of the people in my family, we bleed easily, so my mom said, yeah, we'll bleed easily, we're like free bleeders. And so I told the doctor when I went to my clinic thing, he said, oh yeah, he's doing this thing with the needle. I go, yeah, you gotta watch out, if I bleed a lot, that's because I'm a free bleeder. And he just kind of looked at me strange, like, okay, whatever that means. So then later, I thought, why did he look at me like that? And I looked it up, and free bleeder is someone like the female side that doesn't care to use any kind of something when she has her time of the month, and she's just a free bleeder. So I guess I told him I was a free bleeder. And after that, it's like, wait, my mom told me this. Oh my gosh. All this, for many years, I've been telling people I was a free bleeder. They cuckoo, I don't know. Okay, so we laughed and we laughed and laughed. And that was like when she was already really, going. And we told her, you really need to go to the hospital. You need to get some medicine. But, we all know how that turned out. But let's see. We shared a good laugh, not knowing that just a few days later she'd be in the hospital, her body giving way to the illness that would take her from us. But even then, we all came together, comforting one another and knowing in our hearts that Mia was at peace. She's gone from this realm now, but has been given a new everlasting life with Jesus in paradise. I have no doubt that God will bless her richly for all she did. God said, when you go to heaven, you don't look back. But I feel that she's looking at us now and feeling happy and pleased. As if she could say one thing, and if she could say one thing to all of us, it would be to cherish every moment. Life is fleeting. One day, our days are numbered, and we never know when we will pass. But we do know where we will go if we believe in God and follow the teachings of His Son, Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ broke the grip of death and promised us everlasting life. He helped us be forgiven for all our sins or anything that might separate us from true God. Jesus said He was one with God. No other God can conquer death. No other God raised other people from the dead. No other God can forgive us of our sins. And no other God promised us everlasting life in Him. Jesus is the way and the only way. I did want to reflect on my sister Valerie. She's not here, but she did have a few memories to think of. And it was about her bond with Mia. And one of the things was that when they were young, a story she shared with me was when they were young at my grandmother's house, Mama's house. Mama was outside. In those days, they had the washing machine with the rolling thing on top of it that would kind of squeeze out the water. And they were little 5 and 6 year olds, I believe, Mia and Valerie, or I call her Booby. That's my sister's nickname, Booby. So Mia and Booby were outside playing. Mama had something to do inside, so Booby walked over to the washing machine when Mama was inside and reached up, and she got pulled into the thing, and it rolled up her arm and kind of dislocated her shoulder, and she was hanging there. And Mia saw what was going on and ran back in to get help. And Paul called Mama, and Mama came out and eventually, took care of the situation, but Mia was there for her, just like she's been there for her. And then I think there was another time they were invited to a wedding in Tucson, because they did a lot of growing up in Tucson. And I believe the wedding was catered, and the food that everybody was eating was not good food. It wasn't fresh. It had whatever makes you sick. And nobody knew this. Everybody at the wedding got sick. And Mia and Valerie, or Booby, ended up in the hospital in coma. They almost died. But they were there for a few days. When Valerie woke up first, the first thing out of her mouth was, "Where's my sister?" And then she reflected that the bond was so tight. But then she heard from my mom later, that when Mia woke up from her coma, she said the same thing. She was concerned. They were concerned for each other. And it was, "Where's my sister?" There was a bond there that was deeper than just they were raised like twins, actually. And so we're going to present a video now. And it's it's not too short. It's not too long. Hopefully, you'll see something. You might even see yourself in there. Angel's going to sing for us. Oh, great. Okay. Well, then I was just going to say, on the video, you might see a lot of your stuff, and it seems like they're always celebrating a birthday cake or something, but there's like chocolate cake was her favorite, so you'll see that in there a lot, and we even got some chocolate cake for everybody back there. But I'd like to bring up Angel now, and she's going to sing for us.